How you want to intro this?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Welcome to another Be the Exception episode of our podcast. Are we live?
We're live on tape.
Sick. Liana, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
You're welcome.
So today we're going to get into kind of in-affiliate semifinals. We're going to touch a little bit on grid camp. So Dan will be asking us questions about in-affiliate semifinals, how they went, kind of some thought processes on them. I've talked to almost everybody now that has done, of my athletes that have done it. So I kind of have their perspective a little bit. But yeah, what questions do you have about it, Dan?
Well, give me another quick run through
Of how it worked.
Essentially, well, like just a brief run through because I remember from the long ass that episode where it was just I'm still angry about it with how the structure is because it's so.
Well, we got so many things wrong in that too.
Oh,
apparently.
did we actually?
Well, so I thought they were taking 10 athletes from the in-affiliate semis to the in-person semifinals.
Okay.
They are.
But
They
there's
are.
no leaderboard for the Northeast or the Northwest.
Yeah, I think they're just like combing through and being like, oh, this person lives in North America East. Okay, they're number one. This person's number two.
No
And
fucking
then
way.
cross-checking it.
It has to be because there's no North America East leaderboard. But also, I think top 11 go straight to the games. So it was like a double leaderboard where top
'Cause-
11 from everywhere go to the games, and then top 10 of North America East go to Syndicate.
So right. So they're just combing through that because there's no leaderboard. Because yes,
Yeah.
top 11 went to the games because somebody in the top 10 already qualified, right?
I don't know.
I think that's what it was.
What
Yeah.
brand of comb are they using?
Have you seen Spaceballs?
Yep, that's why I'm asking the
Okay,
question.
that one. Have you seen Spaceballs?
No, actually.
That's-
Oh.
Wait, maybe yes.
You definitely haven't.
It's like a Star Wars spoof.
Yes.
From like the 80s.
And they're
Okay,
gonna-
maybe you have.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid.
All right.
Oh,
That's
okay.
like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So they are taking the top 10 from the Northeast then. Okay. I thought they might have been doing a backfill from the Open, is what they were, because there's an actual leaderboard on the Open for Northeast and Northwest, and like
It's-
called it
I'm gonna get it wrong too, and then someone will call this out.
Artur.
Yeah, someone we know will
Nothing
call this
wrong
out.
with that.
But
I
there
mean-
is a back, like it's where people decline it at various stages of declining invites. They will be backfilled. So if someone like
So if somebody from the Open declines their invite, I don't even know, have all invites been accepted from the Open yet?
I assume so.
Is there a deadline for that?
I think the Syndicate,
But if, like-
20 women are set.
Okay,
from the
okay,
Open,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, but if somebody were to, let's say somebody from the Syndicate qualified for the games,
Like
would-
Alexis
would-
Raptis or someone.
would they then backfill from the Open, or would they then backfill from in-affiliate semifinals?
I think they would backfill from the Open for the top 20, and then backfill for the next 10 from in-affiliate semifinals,
Okay.
according to their rules.
At least it's clear
Yeah.
and concise.
Okay.
Luckily, it did not affect me. But
Yeah.
yeah, the rules are confusing, and there's like multiple levels of backfills, is what I understand.
That's such a mess. Okay. Yeah. So that's how
makes-
that works.
Yeah, there's someone whose job this is to look at this
Yeah,
and know where
yeah,
people
but,
live
like,
and know who qualified for what and figure
You
it
could
out.
make it so much easier, and not make it an actual job. Like it could be very like, hey, this is this, this is this.
Yeah.
And run it.
They should just hire our tour.
They should, yes,
Why do you say that?
because he knows all the stats about everything that has
That's-
ever
that's not
happened
true.
in CrossFit ever.
Okay, CrossFit. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I meant CrossFit. I didn't mean like
Motherfucker don't know
basketball.
stats on grid. Calling you out, Artur.
Okay, well, does that explain the
Nope.
structure? But close enough.
I mean, I guess I'm honestly, I'm more concerned about how the blacklisted crews did, how the blacklisted homies did. You guys understand it. I will do my best and just be a support system.
I don't really understand it.
Well,
I understood what I did, but
you,
yeah.
you understand it more than I do. I mean, as we spoke before, like, I'm pretty checked out when it comes to like all this shit with the
yeah, you're just involved in swimming and grid now.
Yeah, essentially. I want to know from you from the bell curve standpoint, with how the in-affiliate semis went, how did the blacklisted athletes do as a whole?
Very well. Yeah.
Good. How did it go for you, Leanna?
It was Good and bad and neutral. I feel
Okay.
like I gave every workout what I had in the moment. There was one workout that was really good for me. There were a lot that were really hard for me. There were no handstand push-ups, which is
That's dumb.
always hard because that's like I can look at that and just be like,
Okay, why did they not have
think.
handstand push-ups?
Because there's only 5 workouts, and it's not like handstand push-ups are 20% of what CrossFit is.
True,
yeah.
but knowing you, I would personally argue that since that's so much in your wheelhouse, handstand push-ups, strict kipping, deficit, wall walks, even like whatever, ring handstand push-ups, whatever, like that could be a huge swing in your favor. Like if you win that event worldwide or however the fuck it worked, right? Usually like a semifinals event, they're going to have handstand push-ups, correct?
I'm pretty sure for the most part they've had it in
Every single one of them.
every at least quarterfinals for the last
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Shit, even ring dips. that's
Yeah,
that's
so
a
they
that's a
weren't
regional
in this
thing.
one, but like
Why-
it evens
why
out
is
over
that?
time.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, there's
There
only so
is-
many movements you can.
Theoretically,
I mean-
it should even out over time,
Yeah.
right? But politically, it doesn't. Anyway,
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of questions I think about the programming this year in general. Like in age group semifinals, they had no squatting unless you want to count the lunges or the squat snatches. And then at Mayhem, like there was an abundance of squatting. And then in like obviously World Fitness Project is completely separate from this, but there was no squatting. Wait, in World Fitness?
In the qualifier, there was no
There
squatting.
was no squatting in the World Fitness Project qualifier. So there's been just some like very interesting over the last probably 3 or 4 major competitions. Selection of workout or selection bias of workout.
I'm assuming it has to. My assumption in that case would be okay. The data has shown that these movements, elements, whatever that have been cut out, that have been in semifinals or the Open, or what was the other one you just said?
Mayhem.
The squatting is a foundational movement. Pressing is a foundational movement. Why would you eliminate that at like the level that's supposed to take you to the next level? Like, are those no longer a difference maker?
I think that you're assuming that there's more thought process that's put into this.
No, I
than there
definitely
is.
am.
There's also just not enough workouts. Like,
Yeah.
if World Fitness Project had been 6 workouts and there was
Right.
no squatting, it would be like something's really up here.
Right.
So
But there's only so many workouts you can throw at people, and how many ways can you combine?
And there was a
things?
lot of lunging in World Fitness Project, which is still like unilateral knee, or it's like still knee flexion, right? So there's still kind of testing
So I
lower
see
body endurance.
I respect it. Right? I respect that side of it. However, on the CrossFit light, but not having handstand push-ups at a semifinal based event, that doesn't make sense to me because that's always been a divider.
But CrossFit, I'm actually going to argue for CrossFit on this
Okay.
one. in
Please
that
do.
It is everything and anything, and you're testing the unknown and the unknowable. So there
So
could
it's
be
in
a
its
competition.
original- okay.
Yeah, there could be a competition that doesn't have set movement structures.
All right. So
Just like in 2017, there was the dumbbell.
the 100-pound dumbbell snatches and
No,
stuff.
just
what was
the
it?
dumbbell. It was they went through. There was no barbell in the open.
That's right.
That
And
would
then
have
there
been my
was-
year
And then
were
there
I
was
doing
no bar.
CrossFit.
Actually, I think
Well,
the last workout of the open had a barbell.
There was the
then
one
there
with
was-
the one with 800 double unders had overhead squats in it.
That was
That was 2017, was it?
2018, yeah. 2017, I think the last workout had a thrusters and double unders in it with the barbell, but then semifinals had no barbell
Okay. All right.
or regionals that year.
I'll respect that because I do fall in line and respect the whole unknown and unknowable.
Yeah.
Right. So, in that standpoint, okay.
But
That's
I
fair.
also think that there should be more structure to the testing bodies throughout the game or throughout the season. Because right now, so this is one issue that you had with people in the sanctional era, where it was just chaos in regards to who all was going to the games. You had world champions going to the games. Is you just had a smorgasbord of testing body, and then you just had random people that were showing up to the games, and then the testing body at the games didn't reflect the athlete that you were pre-selecting for at that point in time.
Okay.
And in the past, Dave has said that he has kind of like a season structure to things and how he wants to select the athletes going to the games. I don't know. Like, you obviously lose control over that as you dish it out to other affiliations that are programming for these events. And I think we've kind of come back to that where there isn't like a solidified athlete that they're looking for at the games. Now, you could also argue that Dave just because of his workout biases, pre-selected for specific athletes, which was a 5'2" female at 135 pounds and a 5'8" male at 195 pounds. But there was appeared to be more of like this is what we're going to accomplish at each stage of the event. And there was at least somewhat of set goals for those. And now it's just kind of like, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but now it's more like, what are fun workouts?
Okay. Rebuttal.
I'll take any workout that there is. I mean, like, at some point you get a workout that's really good for you and you're like, that's amazing. Like, I can crush this. It'll hurt, but I don't have to be stressed about it, or I know exactly what to do. Like, I'm not managing weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm attacking a workout. Like, for me at this point with what I'm doing with CrossFit, those workouts are few and far between. I think like eventually there will be more of them. So I just kind of look at workouts and whatever it is, if it's former quarterfinals or the Open or World Fitness Project, I'm like, okay, that's what they are.
Yeah, which is ultimately in this sport the mindset that you need to have, because it is unknown and unknowable. You're testing essentially chaos. So whatever is thrown at you, you just have to be okay with doing it and just being pretty much emotionless towards every single event, workout, movement, etc. And that's how you're going to elicit the best score possible. And if there is something that you feel like you're underperforming relative to your field, then you come back to the drawing board in training and you just work on that for fucking ever.
Response.
Yeah. If there was a workout that was just shuttle runs and strict handstand push-ups and maybe like lightweight thrusters,
Yeah.
that would be probably like an ideal perfect workout for me. But otherwise, it's not a rebuttal. It's the same idea. I look at workouts and I'm completely emotionless and I'm just like, this is what they are.
Yeah.
And I will do them. And I expect them to be neutral for me or bad. And sometimes they're really, really good. And that's like a pleasant surprise. But I don't go in with the expectation of like, this is going to be a great workout for me.
Yeah.
Response.
Sorry, you said you go in with the
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I talk myself down. I think I'm just like, I'm not at a point where every workout is a competitive workout. It's just like, do the workout like you've been doing them in training.
Yeah.
And 10% of the time, you'll get an amazing workout for you.
Yeah.
Because of the random movement combinations that are put together that are my strengths.
Right. I actually, so like when I was competing, people would tell me like, oh, this is a great workout for you, or this would have been a really good workout for you now that like I'm done competing. I was like, I never looked at it like that because it was just, I always looked at it as like, it was just a workout. And like, these are the metrics that I need to achieve on this workout to put up a competitive score. And so it was never like, oh, I'm going to crush this and like, I'm going to ride my emotional high on this portion of the workout. It was always just, this is just what I'm doing and I'm just going to go and do it type thing.
Okay. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I have a lot to reflect upon, I think. I need to restructure everything that I believe this chaotic space to be. Honestly.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is it's always changing too. So like right now we have.
It's all a part of the plan.
Yeah, right.
There is no plan.
There's no plan. Because like right now we have this season structure set up where you go from open to semifinals in affiliate, and then we have all these other kind of weird in-person semifinals. But we just did the math on this, very, very broad math, I would say. They lost close to $4 million on their online format this year compared to last year.
Because of not having people pay for quarterfinals.
Correct.
So they upped the price for semis, but you lost the whole population that would have paid for quarters.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
dumb.
some of the semifinal competitors as well just didn't sign up because they didn't feel like it was worth their time.
Sounds like a good business decision.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot to pay for like a weekend.
It was a lot
in
of
affiliate
work.
competition.
Yeah, and it was a lot of work too. So
where did you do yours? Did you do yours?
I did it at my affiliate. Yeah, CrossFit Downtown Atlanta.
yeah.
Shout out CrossFit Downtown Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love Mike.
But
He
there
doesn't
was
remember me. I
it
love
was
him.
interesting. So like I guess this is kind of the main perspective is it was
Michael.
interesting because a lot of the Masters athletes that I had enjoyed age group semifinals, and there wasn't much of a difference between age group semifinals, like the structure of age group semifinals and in affiliate semifinals. But a lot of the people that I had that did in affiliate semifinals, like the phone calls that I had with them, they were just kind of like, I didn't really like that. Or it was just kind of like, okay, I got that done. Like it wasn't like they weren't like super positive coming off of it. If
Why
that
do you
makes sense.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know.
I can say why I wasn't.
Yeah.
Please do.
I mean, I think now that I've started competing in person, which is only really a thing in the last year, that's just so much more fun.
Yeah.
And then the Open is still in affiliate, but there's a lot of people there. So just the energy is different. And it just felt like now that I know what it's like to train for an in-person competition and go there with a group of people and meet new people there, like that's what I want to be doing. And if in affiliate semis, had a very clear route for me to something next, which maybe it would in the future, but this
Yeah.
year it did not. That might have felt different in terms of motivation.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, I'm kind of in my affiliate, like more or less alone,
Yeah.
with my judges and my friends,
Right.
but not like a community experience or a traveling for a competition experience.
And
So-
you're like, oh, I had to do a whole bunch of work to coordinate judges. And then
Yeah.
like on Saturday, you're like, oh, I need to redo some workouts. And you're like trying to find judges for Sunday as well. So it's just like, it was a lot of work for something that might not have mattered for most people.
So what I'm hearing is do a 5-week Open and bring back regionals.
Yes.
Yeah,
I came into CrossFit after all of that era, but all that I've heard
It
is positive things
It
about
was
it.
so much
it
fun.
was
Yeah.
great.
But I think the age group, they actually had more of a positive experience because last year they had to do age group, then they had to do quarterfinals, then they got their in affiliate semifinal. So they were kind of already used to doing the in affiliate semifinal, and they're like to cut one section out for them. I think was like a breath of fresh air of like, oh, we don't have to do quarterfinals this year. So
Yeah,
it's more
but-
of like we get to go do in affiliate semifinals, skip quarterfinals, and then if we qualify, then I get to train for 5 months, like actually have a good season structure instead of like, okay, 3 weeks of the Open, have to make sure I'm in top X percent. Now I have to go do these quarterfinal workouts, actually try on these, and then I have 4 or 5 weeks to go do in affiliate semifinals, which is like the big competition for my season, and then 3 months to go train for the games. And so it's like this 6-month process where now it's like Open. If you're good enough, you're probably qualifying pretty easily for in affiliate semifinals, so you don't have to take it super seriously. Then you have in affiliate semifinals for age group. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later. And then you have 5 months if you qualify for the games of just straight up training. So you have enough time to kind of
see.
take off.
If you can
And
get through the
deload.
hurdle or get over the hurdle of essentially having to do all that crazy ass work with the
Right.
affiliate semifinal.
Right. So you can take the time. You can take 2 or 3 weeks of just decompressing and then have a secondary build-up in the season to go to the games and actually peak at the games. Where, like, a lot of these other season structures,
Okay,
and even
okay.
for individuals this year, I think there's going to be individuals at the end of this year that are wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. We have people
Good.
that are competing 3 weekends in a row right now at World Fitness Project. And that's the
Oh,
norm.
because they're choosing to do all
they
that
did.
shit? Or?
They did some competition in Europe. They did like maybe Mayhem, and now they're doing World Fitness. Or they did in affiliate. Now they're doing World Fitness. Like
Okay.
they just came off of doing the Open. Like for a lot of these people, they went Open, maybe World Fitness Project. They had in affiliate. Maybe they went to Mayhem. Now they're doing World Fitness. Some of them are going to turn around and go right to TFX Invitational.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are going to turn around 2 or 3 weeks later and go to Syndicate. And then there's this last chance qualifier, whatever
When
is.
is TFX?
Next weekend.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think until the last few weeks, I would have said like that sounds fun and that sounds realistic. Now I'm like, I don't know how they're doing that.
Yeah, right, right. Well, I mean, I think Yona Koski was one of those people, and watching him do that first workout at World Fitness Project this weekend, he looked gassed, just gone. Yeah.
That's crazy because he's always been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is aging in the sport as well.
True.
But
Yeah, how old is he now?
I don't know.
He's mid-30s.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Yeah. But I mean,
Hashtag former swimmer.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that are just absolutely gassed by the end of this season, and you're bringing it back to the sanctional side of things where you're going to have good season structures set up. Otherwise, people are just going to be they're going to have a season, and then they're going to be so burnt out and so broken by the end of this that they're just like, fuck competing ever again.
Do you think that this is, even though it's it's quite a bit chaotic, do you guys think that this could leverage a potential for? Because there was an episode where we talked about identifying a season, right, for the CrossFit athlete.
Yeah.
Do you think that this could allow a more clearer structure?
Not until you decide whether the games is going to be quote king or World Fitness Project is going to be king
Or
something
grid.
that doesn't yet exist. Or grid.
Or grid.
yeah,
Is
but
that
come
what
on, man. Yeah, I was saying or grid.
Or grid. So, like, until you decide, or maybe you're an athlete that just decides they want to go do World Fitness Project or they only want to do. So in that sense, yeah, you could have a season structure. But I think until these two entities either have different season times or one of them wins out and is kind of like the event that everybody wants to go to, you're going to have athletes that just compete year round.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow. It's very, it's very much the demand of the high level swimmer. Honestly, it's not much different at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that I'm trying to marinate in it all, while also I'm gonna separate that internally now. Let's talk about the let's fully dive in and talk about the blacklisted athletes that did the in affiliate semis. Do we want to start with Leanna on it, or do you want to talk about the rest of the crew first?
We can talk about Leanna.
Okay.
All right, Leanna.
Should we go workout by workout?
Yes, absolutely. Why
Okay.
not?
Okay. Well, we'll start with Isabel. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like we just get that out of the way. I can't snatch 155, or I couldn't on that day.
Yeah.
I never have before. I will in the
Really?
future. But yeah.
Yeah.
I PR'd my snatch like 2 weeks before.
Did you see
and it was
the
150.
Did you see the before and after video that we posted?
I did. Yeah.
That was from July to February.
No shit.
Yeah. Or July to what was that? April? July to
yeah,
April.
April.
Yeah, July to April.
Huh. Well done.
So 155 is in the future.
Yeah.
It's not an
You
impossible
would
thing,
have
but
had a high volume PR.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
say I basically learned how to squat snatch like in the few weeks before.
Yeah.
I'm not yet strong enough to power that weight,
Got
and
it.
also I've
Okay.
only been really practicing squat snatches. So I was like, if I'm gonna get this weight, it's gonna be a squat
Yeah.
snatch. So I did it first, and I really tried, and I didn't get it. I got kind of close on several reps. It was still too far in front,
Got
and I
it.
didn't really commit to chasing it down. So yeah, that was day one. That was not great. It would have been nice to get it a few times.
Yeah,
That was sort
that's
of
a
how
tough
things
start,
kicked off.
man.
Yeah.
So how'd you respond?
I was pretty upset. I mean, I pulled myself together. I came back and I did the rest of it, and I think I had a pretty positive attitude
Mine-
Friday onward.
Minus Thursday night. She almost pulled out of the competition.
Yeah, I was pretty upset about it. I was like crying, and I did a whole journaling thing, and I don't care what my scores are in competitions. It's about like putting in so much effort to something
Sure.
and feeling like in that moment it's not paying off. And I think what I came back to when I was writing it out was like my best was not enough. And it's not like I expected to get 30 snatches, but I was like, there was a
That-
world where I got like 3.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's okay. I want to talk on that for a moment because that is damn, that's such a reality. I don't think that's a topic that's honestly been hit on by an athlete yet on an episode with that statement you just said, my best wasn't enough. Like, that's a crippling thing, or it can be.
Yeah, for a few hours.
For a few
That was
hours,
fine.
in this sense, in a few hours, right? So
But there are athletes that dwell on that, and it
Yep.
does cripple them.
So I'm curious, like what skill set do you have? What did you develop that night? Other than you said the journaling and whatnot, but I'm going to ask you, Leanna, if you're comfortable with it, be like extremely specific because everyone needs to be able to hear this. In my opinion, one, they need to hear that it's okay to have a moment of like, my best wasn't good enough. Fuck. Is that so? Do you look at that? Is that my ceiling, or what's the opportunity to shatter the threshold? Right. So, like, to bounce back.
Like, how did I learn to do that?
No, not necessarily. Like, what method did you use that day to come back?
Yeah. I think I'm a very resilient person, and this is a topic probably for a different podcast, but I had a really, really bad injury like 5 years ago at this point that completely knocked me out physically and mentally.
I don't think it's
and
fully
coming
inappropriate.
back from that was basically how I learned like everything about you have shitty days and you have shitty moments, but you can have like a bigger picture and put shitty moments into context.
All right, so
Probably shouldn't be swearing. Okay, bad moments.
yeah,
I've
you
sworn a
can't
couple
fucking
times, so
swear
you're
at
fine.
all in this podcast.
Just make sure you're talking into the microphone.
Okay, shit.
No, like, move it over because you're like when you talk to Nan.
There.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think it's fully inappropriate if you're comfortable to touch on it
Yeah,
a little bit at
absolutely.
least. Like, what was the injury that occurred, and like, how did specifically what did you learn? What skill set did you develop in order, and you put that into practice that night? Bring, if you don't mind, like
Yeah.
give us a short full circle
For people
story.
who follow, like, I guess, very good CrossFitters, it's the same injury that Lucy Campbell had. So I broke my lunate bone in my right wrist in October of 2019. So it was 1 year into doing CrossFit. And I was just like overtraining, under eating. I had a history of stress fractures from running.
So you ran marathons, right?
Yeah, track in high school and then marathons like during my 20s.
That's right.
So anyway, I got a stress fracture. I had no symptoms besides my wrist would hurt a little bit sometimes. And then I was doing a medium heavy dumbbell snatch and my wrist just basically like snapped in the middle of the rep.
Did you hear it?
No, I felt it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like the whole thing flew backwards or something. But in the moment, I immediately realized like something very
It's not
bad
right.
just happened to my
Yeah.
wrist. I didn't think I'd broken my wrist. I'd broken a fair amount of bones, and it didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
I remember voodoo flossing it after, actually, because I was
Oh,
like, I
shit.
think I like sprained my wrist. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I
Yeah.
just pulled a ligament. And I went through months and months of it being misdiagnosed by a series of sports medicine doctors. I eventually got the right diagnosis, but by the time I did, it had been at least 4 months, maybe 5,
Fuck.
of like rehabbing the wrong injury. And the rehab I'd been doing for the wrong diagnosis involved moving your wrist and using it as much as possible.
Right thing to do with a broken
Yeah,
bone.
so when you break a bone, like you need to immobilize it. Very different than ligament tears or anything like that. So it got to a really, really bad point, and I was told by multiple doctors that I worked with, like, you're probably going to have to get a wrist fusion, or we'll take out a row of bones in your wrist. Either way, you'll either lose all your wrist stability or mobility. But either way, you're not doing CrossFit anymore. Like, you can do other sports that don't use your upper body. And
Fuck.
Nope.
yeah. So I just said that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
And then when I found the doctor who I ended up working with, he was like, I think at that time, he was like, I think you're young enough that we can immobilize this for a few months, try some experimental treatments. And I'm not saying it's going to work, but we're going to try everything to make it work before we go a surgical route that would make your wrist like completely non-functional. So I went with that.
Smart.
And it was just pretty devastating. Like, I'd always taken on different challenges and done different sports, and I'd found CrossFit a year or so before it happened, and I really, really liked it. And it was a 2-year process to heal. So in my mind, I just
Damn.
had to kind of keep in my mind, like, I really like CrossFit. I think there's something there for me. I don't know what that is because I'm like too new to it to have any idea what my potential could be, but I like it and I want to see what it is. So I have to stick with the injury recovery process so I can eventually get back to just like a able body, not a competitive body, just like an able body, and then give it a shot. So I don't know. I read a lot of
Interesting.
Stoic philosophy and did a lot of journaling
Nice.
and went to therapy and did the whole injury rehab. And at the end of that, it was okay. It still hurts. Like, I have arthritis in my wrist, but it's not broken anymore, and I'm not going to break it again.
That's crazy to think that your level of handstand push-up skill set and you had a Jan Babayuski wrist.
Yeah. Well,
Like, that's
luckily,
pretty
for whatever
crazy.
reason, I'm very genetically gifted with upper body pressing. So
Fair enough.
it didn't help with stuff like, oh, I couldn't work on snatches for 2 years.
Yeah.
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 So, did the quote unquote PTSD associated with
Mm-hmm.
your wrist spark the I'm thinking about withdrawing from the competition because of the snatches?
No, it wasn't
No?
like, oh, I think I'm going to break my wrist if I try this.
No,
again.
I mean
Yeah.
like the traumatic experience you had there and the 2 years of hell you had
Mm-hmm.
rehabbing your wrist. Do you think that maybe that subconsciously triggered like because I've never known you anything that close to. Let me rephrase. I would never think to place Leanna in a category of I'm going to drop out ever. Just
Yeah.
like watching you. While you're training, sorry, watching you while you're training, I never would have guessed that you specifically could reach that state of mind.
Yeah, I think I was just very upset about what had happened, and I was like, I'm not feeling positive about competing right now. I don't really want to compete if I'm not in a positive mindset, because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for fun, and if I'm not going to have fun with a competition, or if I'm going to be extremely negative the whole time, for me, there's no point in that. I don't feel like I need to prove to myself that I can push through a competition when I'm in a bad mental headspace. Like, I've done that plenty of times with running. So it just felt like if I can't turn around this negativity, I don't think this is worth doing.
That's fair. So you were able to turn it around.
Yeah.
Obviously.
By putting it into context and being like,
There you
you've
go.
been through a lot worse things. This actually isn't that big of a deal. Even if you had gotten the snatches, again, we were talking like a handful of reps, possibly.
That's good.
So it was already going to be a bad score. It wasn't really about the score. And I kind of had to put that back into context again of like, the score is what it is. You know, you were going to be in last place or you were going to be in like 20th to last place. That neither of those things are a big deal. Do you want to keep competing? And I don't know. I think when I went to bed on Thursday night, I wasn't sure. But when I woke up on Friday, I said, I'm going in. And I did my favorite workout next, which was the burpees and shuttle runs. And I think that turned things around.
Hell yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Burpees and shoulder
Okay,
runs.
well, I did it twice, but that was a great one. It was the interval workout, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off for 5 rounds. You started with 10 shuttle runs. Some people did it wrong, but 10 means 25 feet down, 25 feet back, touch the ground. In
Down and
between each
back is
one.
one.
Oh, there were people that were doing that?
Yeah, I think her score has since been removed,
Oh,
but I
okay.
did check someone. I know I said I wasn't leaderboarding, but I did check someone who had an insane score because I was like,
yeah,
how could someone get a
how?
sure that good? Like, I want to see. So
Was it
I
like
could-
the 70s or something like
I think
that?
it was 80.
Was
or
that,
more.
so
Wow,
down
okay.
and back was supposed to be one.
She did like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
it should have been
no.
1, 2.
Yeah, okay. I
3.
got you. Yeah.
Okay.
That-
Either
that
way, you
makes
do your
sense,
10
yeah.
shuttle runs. That takes a minute and change. And then you did 10 clean and jerks, 85 pounds for women, 135 for men. And then AMRAP burpees over the barbell, lateral or any which way in the remainder of the 2 minutes. Rest 1 minute.
Any which way.
Yeah. Well, you could face, you could be kind of diagonal. It wasn't bar facing.
Interesting.
Get yourself over the bar.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then 1 minute rest, do it 5 times, and the only score you got was your number of burpees. And if you didn't
Yeah.
get any burpees in a round,
You
were
done?
out. You couldn't like get back in and do the next round.
That's really interesting because I think that's the first time I've ever heard either not heard a specific bar facing burpees.
I think always when
It
it's
was
when it's lateral. Well, they said lateral, but then they
Yeah.
said like you can be kind of diagonal. Like the bar could be here and you could be here.
Okay.
But also,
You
like
could
you
be
could,
facing.
if you could be facing, like why are they going to tell you that's a no
Yeah,
rep?
it was like the box jumps last
Yeah,
year when
right.
I actually did them facing because
I did
I
them
didn't
facing,
I didn't
too.
know how to do lateral burpees
Yeah,
over a box.
right.
Then. Lateral was faster, but I was like I can't
Okay.
do that. So now I can.
So you crushed it.
I think I
I'm
did pretty
assuming.
well the first time. I did really well the second time.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
let the
people know
Let the
how.
people know. Come on, man.
Okay. I did. I mean, my clean and jerks were fine. My shuttle runs are really fast, so those were like always about a minute.
I'm surprised.
No one's surprised. The clean and jerks were fine. The first time I did them all as singles,
Yeah.
my bar was bouncing like crazy.
Yeah.
So then on the second time I did it, which was on Sunday, I called up some friends, Holly and Sarah, who had Olympic plates. And I was like, can I come get your plates or can you bring them to me? And that was great. So first, in the
those
second
things
time, I
don't
linked
bounce at
some
all.
reps, which saved time.
Yeah.
And then also when I started going to singles, the bar it went from bouncing like 3 feet high to 1 foot high.
It was literally
Yeah.
like Liana would drop the bar and it would bounce to
Fly
her
up to my
waist.
face.
yeah,
And I'd be like, settle down.
Yeah.
So,
it was
so
like-
Michael's got those OG Rogue.
I think they're Lynx place maybe, but
Oh, they're Lynx
They're
plates?
bouncy
But
place.
it's also the 25s, like the 25s.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
yeah.
That's true.
So they
it's
just
the,
bounce
yeah,
more.
it's the kind of thing that I wouldn't have ever thought about sort of before the last few months of trying to like strategize workouts as much as possible. Because in the moment I was going at maximum intensity, but then I watched the video and it's like you're just resting every time you're trying to get the bar to stop
Yeah.
bouncing from your face down to the ground.
yeah.
Damn, that's actually guarantee you people forget that entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Well, that was a big thing back when, in like the mid 20s, was barbell cycling is a big thing. So I actually think this year was for programming was pretty interesting because it really brought back the prevalence of barbell cycling, which has been kind of non-existent in the sport for about 3 to 4 years. But in the 2010s, there was always some sort of barbell cycling workout, and so figuring out how to dead stop, chase your bar down, or touch and go reps was a very practice kind of thing in the sport. But since it's shifted more to just like this crazy volume component, it's become less prevalent in the sports, being able to cycle that barbell. And this is the first time in a while that it's really been evident that you need to have good mechanics when cycling a barbell. If you're going to singles, making sure that you're pushing the bar to the ground, or having dead stop plates and chasing it down to the ground, which are two things that were, again, practiced a little bit more in the mid tens.
I do recall a lot of barbell cycling back in those days, especially after Mr. Kalipa took his barbell for a run in 2009, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit was funny.
Yeah.
Because that following year, 2010, they ended with Grace, Isabel, and Fran. Yeah.
Great.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It was fun.
it was so cool.
You should go back and watch some of the old
Like
CrossFit.
they did the workouts separately, or it was one workout that was Grace, Isabel, Fran.
You started out with Isabel, and I think it was a 5-minute time cap.
Yeah.
Rested 1 minute, went and did Grace.
Yep.
Another 5-minute time cap. Rested 1 minute, went and did Fran.
I love
Yep.
that.
The closing workouts from like
Dude, they were
2010
so
to
cool.
14 were amazing.
Yeah, they were really cool. They were fun to watch.
Tons of
Yeah,
fun.
fun to watch. And dude, that year was really cool too, because like Froning won all three of them
Back to back.
after he had already like won.
That might have been
thing.
2011, because in 2010
2011?
there was the rope climb, fall from the rope climb.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. 2011. It was so like back in the good old days of
Where do I find this footage?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all up there. Like, my favorite event, honestly, to watch from the 2013 games, the clean ladder. They could choose which one
Which
they
way
start
they start?
at. Yeah.
Yes, that was
cool. But that's getting off topic. I apologize. Anyway,
We
so
can have a nostalgia episode.
We
We play old CrossFit clips.
Yeah.
so
back
you
in the
shattered
glory
the
days.
second workout. Like you
I don't
shattered
know,
it.
shot. I did pretty well. It's not like a top score.
Yeah, it's
but yeah,
look,
it
we're
was good.
using the same vocabulary
Okay.
here. You shattered it.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Okay. So that was good. That's how I kicked off Friday. And then I was like, I'm back in it. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm happy now. And I'll
So
just forget about Isabel
after
until I
that?
try to redo it.
After that,
After that, I did the ring muscle up back squat workout. That was a 15-minute AMRAP, 3 ring muscle ups, 3 back squats, 275, 185. And then 30-foot handstand walk, 15 feet out, 15 feet back. But every round you added 3 reps onto the rings and the back squat, not the handstand push-ups.
fuck.
Or not the handstand walk. So it would go like 3,
Yeah.
3, 30, 6, 6, 30, 9,
Yeah.
9, 30. Yeah.
I actually really like that one. A
Workout
lot.
2, the burpee and that workout were some of their best designed workouts.
I like both of them.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Did that? So
I like
how
that one.
were your ring muscle ups on
They
that
were
one?
very good.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd been resting my upper body for a few days. So, like, for me, they're not a strength movement. Like, they
Right.
can be someday. They're not quite yet. But I feel like for me, they were really good.
They've developed
a lot.
incredibly.
Yeah. You saw them when I first showed up
Yep.
last year. I remember you trying to give me tips. And then it was like, well, just put a lid on this. There's a lot going on here.
The fat guy giving you tips.
Well, I would only use my arms on them. Like, I did not
Yes.
use my legs or hips or anything besides my arms to kind of haul myself over the rings.
So how did you end up within that? Like what was your plan, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
did you stick really well to
Yeah,
it?
I mostly stuck to it. The plan was 3s on ring muscle ups the whole time. That stuck until the last round, which was in the round of 15, and I think I did like 2 singles.
Gotcha.
But up to that point, all 3s. On the back squats, I was going to try to hold bigger sets. We have definitely been doing heavy weight,
Yeah.
high volume back squats, but
Nice.
it wasn't there. Like, I was starting and I was like, if I try to do these big sets that I had planned,
Okay.
this is going to go south really fast. So I broke those up a little bit earlier than I thought I would. But it was fine. Handstand walks were good.
Of course.
Oh, no, not of course. Handstand walks actually are not a great thing for me. They've come a long way.
Really?
Oh, I was terrified to learn them.
I
was
remember-
very slow at them.
I remember
Yeah.
the day that we first met that you were very poor at them, but
I'm trying to remember like how you could like
I could,
maybe
yeah.
get 25 feet.
I
when
could
we-
do them by the time we met. Like, the
Okay,
process
okay.
of me actually learning them several years ago was a insanely long process.
I remember the
Yeah.
story.
Well, I thought I would break my neck. I was just like, if I get upside down and start walking, I won't know how to come out of it, and I will crash on my neck. So Michael, who you know, had to spot me through handstand walking for probably like 6 months.
Really?
And every time that or someone had to spot me, someone strong. I was like, someone my size can't spot me. I need someone like substantially taller who I'm confident that if I'm going this way and I hit them, like they can stop me.
Okay.
That was a long period.
Also, shout out to Michael. He's such a good dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Yes, he is. I met him once at a CrossFit Level 2 in 2016.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that man.
Yeah.
He's just an incredible human.
Yeah. 100%.
So he spotted me on those for a really, really long time. There was a big breakthrough for me with them in quarterfinals, I think 2 years ago, when you had to do 25 feet unbroken. And that was the only way to get points. It was like
Yeah, I
8 or
remember
9
that.
times through 25
right.
feet
Yeah,
unbroken. At that point, I had only ever done 5 feet unbroken.
Really?
So honestly, that was kind of like an Isabel moment for me, but it was a positive experience. Like I saw that workout, and I'm like, I can't if the only way to get points here is to do a 25-foot section, this is impossible. But somehow I stayed upside down and I got maybe all of them. And then I had a little bit of time at the end for whatever came next. So that was
Yes.
good.
Front squats, I think.
Yeah. So by the time you met me, I could handstand walk. But all that is to say, it took me a
Gotcha.
very, very long time to learn how to handstand walk.
Yeah.
So I don't see them immediately now and be like, oh, yay. It's really just handstand push-ups.
Gotcha.
But that workout was good. I think there's lots of work to be done on ring muscle up efficiency still and getting my legs stronger. But I was happy with that workout. Like I did a plan. The plan worked.
Hell yeah.
I failed my last rep of ring muscle ups, which is actually good because it's like I was pushing the threshold of what I can do. If I'd finished with a beautiful set of 3, I would have been like, oh, well, I probably should have done sets of 4 or like hopped up on the rings faster or something like that.
Either way, it's a fantastic identifier of I could have done 4. No, I was right where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! Like that spectrum, or that spectrum, I guess. So the positivity from workout 2 carried into workout 3, and it just seemed right now. It just sounds like it was a continuous upscale experience.
Yeah, it was a good day. I had friends from my gym there. My judges who are my friends. Sydney came down that day and did the
Nice.
first workout with me.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, so that was a good day.
So carries into the next one.
Okay, so I should also say that in between all these days, I was going into ice baths for like 30 minutes to the point where I think I damaged the skin on my legs from doing so much ice bathing because I did High Rocks the weekend before and I
That's
sort of
right.
wrecked my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bad decision.
Yes.
No, it was a good decision. it was a decision. And
It was a decision.
and the results of the decision were that my legs were very compromised.
I'll be honest, I did not think it was going to destroy you.
I didn't think it would destroy
as
me.
much as
Yeah.
it did, but yeah, we were kind of burning the candle on both ends,
Okay.
and Leona's had a bunch of work stress as well, and High Rocks was kind of the point in time where it was like
You needed that de-stressor.
Yeah, the week before High Rocks, I was like, I don't feel great.
Yeah,
I did a half High Rocks and it was really hard.
and then High Rocks was kind of just like a tip. I thought it was going to act more as just kind of like a flush deload like thing, but it tipped her over the edge, and so she spent literally. I think the first time you worked out Sunday,
Yes.
but then after that, it wasn't until Thursday that you worked out that week. So
Probably smart.
Yeah.
it was, but it just wasn't. It still wasn't enough time.
So you were on the. It sounds like you were on the preface of developing rhabdo or some type of CNS extreme, not extreme.
I think
but-
more on the CNS side
Yeah.
than the
Yes.
rhabdo side. My
Yeah.
legs were like very sore after
Yeah.
High Rocks, but I was like, I mean, I don't have Coca-Cola pee. Like, it's fine. I don't
Yeah.
think I need to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
My legs are just
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sore.
Fuck that shit. Rhabdo sucks.
Yeah.
For sure.
So anyway, so that was my recovery attempts in between all this. Friday was good. And then on Saturday, I did the rope climb
first,
workout
yeah.
first, and then the lunging workout second.
So it sounds like after everything, if everything after Isabel was like Leanna's name.
No.
Could it, no?
Friday was better
No.
than Saturday. So Saturday, now we're on Saturday. I did the rope climb workout. For me, that was a really, really good workout. And I said after it, like, this isn't going to be a great score, but it's like the best grip fatigue workout I've ever had. So that was 30 minutes of 1,000 meter AMRAP 30, 1,000 meter row, 30 toes to bar, 6 rope climbs, standard 15-foot rope climb. Do it for 30 minutes. And I got back on the rower in the 4th round and almost finished the row, and my grip didn't blow up at all. So kind of the opposite of the ring muscle up workout. When I finished that workout, I thought like, okay, there actually was a little bit more there. But I'm like so used to my grip blowing up in workouts like that, of any time domain. I mean, it could be anything from 7 minutes to 30 minutes, but if there's no rest for my grip, like I just expect disaster. So I went into it with a plan of just managing grip, like 5s on the toes to bar, breaks on the rope climbs, like probably more breaks than I should have. And then on the rower, I would hold it and then I would like shake my hands out every time that I returned my hands down toward the flywheel. So it was a really good workout for me, but I did not push it as much as I probably should have, because when I finished, I was sort of fine.
I guess I believe that because your response just then to what I said about after the first workout is my perception, like a Leanna near wheelhouse workout without handstand push-ups, goes to show how much I guess I'm not fully aware.
You thought that the rowing and rope climb workout was in my wheelhouse?
From what from the performance,
Yeah.
You shot 30 minutes, and you're
Yeah,
like,
you
oh,
saw-
Leanna
no.
workout.
Well, no, I mean honestly, like I guess I'm not fully aware of like your global skill set.
Yeah, my toes
Right.
to bar are really, really good,
Yeah,
but my
but-
rope climbs are not, and rowing has been a process.
Yeah, just
mean-
a couple months ago, we got her to really understand like how to clamp her feet on the
Okay.
rope climbs. So,
Okay.
yeah.
There would have had to be a lot more toes to bar in that workout and a little bit less rowing for it to be like a smash success.
And like maybe 3 rope climbs.
Yeah, 3 rope climbs. 500-meter row, 50 toes to bar, 3 rope climbs. But it is what it was. What it was. It is what it is, and it was very good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was all just grip. Like my friend Morgan was my judge. We were talking while I was rowing, except the final row. The final row, I was sprinting as hard as I could.
What were you holding on average on the row?
Like 210, 211 until the last segment. So no conversations then. Then I left it
Sure,
all on
sure.
the rower. But yeah, I felt laughably slow. I was on there. I was like, I can't believe I'm rowing this slow right now. But it's like what I had to do, or what I
Gotcha.
thought I had to do to manage 30 minutes of nonstop grip.
Fair enough. I mean, so I guess all right. So you, trial and error.
Yeah. So I came off that very happy.
Nice.
I was like, this is great. This is a great grip workout for me, just to even as a training piece to have 30
Yeah.
minutes of grip fatigue and just put that into my training bag.
I mean, the fact that you experienced minimal grip fatigue at all, if at all, is
There was a little, but not a lot.
nothing significant. Like, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like anyway.
Now I know I can do a workout like that and like push a little harder.
So you took the happiness into the final workout.
Yeah. Which I was not happy about in the
Oh.
moment. I mean, when I saw it, I actually thought it would be okay. Like, I know I can. So that was 20-minute, not AMRAP. Time cap was 20 minutes. It was an ascending rep scheme. No,
Descending.
descending rep scheme.
Yeah.
Of just 2 movements, GHD sit-ups and double dumbbell overhead walking lunge. The dumbbells were double
Fuck.
50s, and the GHDs were just regular GHDs. So it was 20, 18, 16, 14, down to 2
Down to 2.
with
yeah.
a 20-minute time cap. People were
That's-
finishing this workout in like 10 minutes. I got time capped in the round of 10, or maybe 8. 10?
10.
Yeah.
What was your biggest limiter with that one?
The overhead dumbbell walking
The
lunges.
mobility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured,
Yeah. It's just, that's a tough workout because it's like you have
Yeah,
to,
that one sounds fucking grueling.
like it's all about, I mean, I understand this is a component of fitness, but it is all about just how mobile you are. And like if you can get into good positions and bone stack with those dumbbells overhead, like you're going to be so much faster than somebody that just can't do that.
No, I mean it makes sense. Okay, that one I'll agree
Yeah.
with you. That's not a Leanna wheelhouse.
So that was pretty hard. but again, like I gave it what I had. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I was just like, this is extremely hard, like a lot harder than I thought it would be. And by the end, I was doing like 2 or 3 steps at a time with the dumbbells.
Gotcha.
And that was that.
I mean, sounds like your experience overall for the unaffiliated semifinals
Yeah.
is pretty good.
And then it wasn't done because then on Sunday I tried Isabel again and also did not get the snatches. And then I redid the shuttles and burpees and did better.
So
And that was all of it.
how did you respond to the same result of Isabel the second time?
Much better because it was much worse.
Oh.
I wasn't even close. Like I was.
Gotcha.
So the first time I warmed up, I hit 150, and then I was immediately like, get the cameras rolling. If I'm going to get 155, it's right now. And then I failed 155 for 10 minutes straight
Gotcha.
over probably like 15 attempts or however many. The second time, we didn't even get there. I was failing 135 in my warm-ups. So it felt better. I was like, I really, really tried. Like, I'm completely trashed. I would get under the barbell, and it would just like, it would just get there, and it would just fall.
It just warmed you up extremely well for the burpees and shuttles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I took a nap. Emma came down for that one. Oh, I should also say, John came down for the ring muscle up. So lots of people came to help support. Emma came down on Sunday. We got coffee. I took a nap in the leg boots and then hit the final workout. And then it was done.
So your first experience with semifinals, a form of semifinals, what grade would you give it?
What grade? What grade for me or what grade for like the programming?
How about a grade for you, a grade for the programming, a grade for the overall experience?
Okay. I mean, my effort level was A+. The programming was A. My experience was B-.
Fair enough.
Yeah, those are my
Fair
grades.
Those are your grades.
I was an A student, so
So did you meet all your expectations?
I didn't have any expectations.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy you said that personally because in my opinion, especially as a first semifinals qualifier, correct? Like, having expectations going into it is, to me, it's a detrimental thing.
I think having expectations going into anything is a detrimental thing.
I don't disagree fully. I just, being as excluded from the CrossFit light as I am, I wasn't going to speak for that side of the higher level, like near elite level, to have expectations and whatnot. But like speaking in the swimming light, yeah, expectations like shatter performance in a negative way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I find expectations like very, very unhelpful to me. I'm not motivated by expectations, and I think that for me, the downside of not meeting expectations like is not worth the potential upside of meeting them.
Fuck it, we ball is a great mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never met anybody that doesn't hold true for, to be honest. Like, I think you can, if you don't meet expectations, you can use it as a little bit of a motivation factor. But I think that if you're setting expectations and you don't meet it one time, you start pressing even in your training, and it becomes just not a healthy environment for you or mindset or anything to be training in. And that ultimately just leads to poorer and poorer and poorer performances over time. I really think in order for you to achieve something, I think you have to separate yourself from it. It can't be your identity, and you have to separate yourself from whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. But when you set expectations, that expectation becomes your identity, and it becomes just an unhealthy way of training, performing, etc. And you can't control expectations. Like, there's so many uncontrollables in the competition world. Like, it's just like to assume that you can expect to control an outcome on a leaderboard is a fucking wild mindset to me.
And yet people have kept asking me if I placed where I wanted to place. I'm like, there was nowhere that I wanted to place.
We talk about this all the time. The only thing you control is effort, execution, and your focus. And like, those are the three things that you can control inside of a competition. And like, you can't control what you're like. In 10 years ago, your scores would have fucking won a CrossFit, competition in these workouts.
Yeah.
But you can't control what your competition is doing. You can't control their scores. You can't control any of these things. So like, why put some expectations on something when there's huge variables in there that you can't control? And like, obviously with training, you can minimize those variables or the effect that a lot of those variables have, but you can't ever get rid of the we'll just call it volatility that those variables provide in the equation.
Gotcha. More people need to take this piece far more seriously than they do.
You would be a lot happier in sport if you treated sport like that.
No debate on that.
And I'm not saying that you don't want to win and you shouldn't want to win and you shouldn't want to be like the best version of yourself possible. But when you're trying to control something that's uncontrollable, it will ultimately prevent you from being the best possible version of yourself.
Always wonderful to be the very best. Like no one ever was.
Is that a song?
Is that from The Lion King?
That was the first line of the Pokemon theme song.
Okay.
What is that?
He knows what it is. I'm not falling to your
Pokemon
trap.
is.
I want to be the very best. Well, that's good.
Yeah, so it was good. Keep working. Well, I'm taking this month easy, but yeah.
Probably for the
Good
best,
things.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
don't-
I didn't view this as like the be all end all of the season, or like there was a big training cycle that went into it, but I view that more as just like a building block of a much larger training cycle that is just kind of my life.
So what? Fair enough. So like, what is your next step then?
Well, I'm competing in terms of competitions. I have a one-day competition in Boston at the end of June, Invictus Boston Invitational. Maybe very much in pencil that can be erased. Maybe try World Fitness Project qualifier again the week after that. Not competing at all the rest of the summer, and I'll do beach brawl. And I'm doing the pairs Masters Fitness Championship, but not in the Masters category, in the 18 to 35 with my friend Ashley in October. And I'll do Fittest of the Coast qualifiers. And I think that's basically the year.
Hell yeah. So you said the Boston competition is when in June?
It's June 29th.
June 29th. And then the July 4th weekend is the
Yeah.
World
okay.
Fitness, yeah.
World Fitness.
So we'll see. We're giving her a month very easy. So she was pretty burnt out.
I believe you.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I applaud everybody going through like the open semifinal stuff and then all the chaos associated with it. Like, how did everybody else adapt, adjust, et cetera, to it that did the semifinals? So
Yeah,
obviously
well-
the teen athletes did extremely well.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people that did very well in semifinals. Sam was top 200. Steph was top 200. Spencer, these are just my athletes, but Spencer was top 200, and Spencer also had no expectations coming in this year. He's about 2-ish years into CrossFit now, and he is getting very good very fast.
Awesome.
So he was to put in perspective how quickly he's adapting to things. He had a competition last July that had a snatch ladder, and him and his partners didn't get past the 185 bar, and he hit 15 snatches at 225 in Isabel. So
That's really good.
yeah.
Decent improvement.
Yeah. So he's he's adapting very quickly to things. He's improving very fast. It's just so he had a great, he didn't even expect to be this good this fast in the sport. So it was kind of just like a very cool moment for him to even be able to compete in semifinals this year. So
Okay.
and then Steph Brennison out in Arizona had a very good year. She tried to compete team last year. Didn't really work out for them. She's been training with me for a year now, and she had her best open placement ever, I believe, and then top 200 again in semifinals, and she crushed some workouts. She finished Isabel. She finished the double overhead lunge one, and then those two were like really standout workouts for her.
Okay.
So, and then Sam did very well. She just had a very chaotic weekend. She's still she's Army Reserve, and she had to go to the range on Friday. They wouldn't let her out of it. So she had to go to the range.
No.
And then she basically had to piggyback on top of judges for the rest of the weekend. So I think she did the ring muscle up workout, and then immediately 20 minutes later, an hour later, turned around and did the rope climb workout on Saturday. So
That could not be me.
yeah,
No.
she made the best of it.
Wow,
so,
that's really
That
hard.
sucks.
But she's going to compete at TFX Invitational.
All right.
So, so she's got that coming up. She's going in the RX division, not the bigger division. But so
I feel for it. That's tough.
yeah. So we had some very awesome performances.
And Bree did really, really well too.
Yes, Bree.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bree. Yes, Bree crushed it. Bree is. I knew I was. Apologies,
like,
Bree. I
someone's
knew
in
I was
there.
forgetting. I was like trying to run through the group text again.
You're just so mad at her for her making you do all the road today.
Not that Bree. Bree Seegert down in Florida.
I'm an asshole.
She's actually gonna be on the podcast. We're gonna talk about her experience over the last year in
Okay.
2 weeks. She's coming up in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
So, but yeah, she was in the boat with Liana about it. Just kind of sucked. The in affiliate just kind of sucked. But she's also she's regionals level, like,
Right.
where she saw what CrossFit was back in 2018 and how much fun it was, and like just the good community that it existed back then. And so she was just kind of like, it just kind of sucked. Like for a build, it was like just anticlimactic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But she last year started with me and was in chronic pain in her upper back. And over the last year, we've been able to get her out of pain.
Wonderful.
She's competed at beach brawl in the RX division and won. She competed with Liana at Fittest of the Coast in the RX division team. They won.
Yep.
And then she was able to do open, didn't do World Fitness, but open and then build up for semis and finish in the top 200 as well for semis. She was 173rd place. So
Not bad coming off a broken back.
yeah. So her year, like I'm very excited to do the podcast with her because her year has been just. It's also not only on top of that, but it's been chaotic. She moved from where she grew up in Nebraska to Florida, and started a completely new job at a new gym. Like basically uprooted
picked
her
up
luck
her- yeah,
and,
that's
and
crazy.
moved. So I'm pretty excited to do a podcast with her. But yeah, she absolutely crushed this. Hit a. I can't remember how many snatches she hit at 155, but since working with me, she's only hit that one time. Like
Really?
So yeah, it was a very good competition for her. Sorry for leaving her up.
But now we talked a lot about her. She did great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You made up for it.
Okay,
I think she'd be happy.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was I don't know. That was the inaffiliate experience. I think it was. I kind of agree with these guys. It was pretty anticlimactic finish to the season for a lot of people.
That's always a bummer.
Yeah, I'm very so kind of going back to what we were talking about before is like they have this new season structure. They lost almost $4 million on it. They're selling currently. Apparently, they've found a buyer. New company or individual or entity is coming in and buying it. So the question is this season structure going to remain for next year? Personally, and I'm not PE or like I'm not a business wizard, but I would not run the same season structure, seeing that we lost $4 million
from a
year to
business
year.
Yeah.
perspective.
And
it
people
wouldn't
are
make
sad
sense.
about quarterfinals going away. Like that was very motivating for a lot of people.
A
Even
lot
if
of
it,
people.
Like maybe
Really?
top 25 was too much, but I think top 10 was very motivating and feasible for
10,
affiliates.
25, to be honest, like it just gave people something to shoot for.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a much better community builder than what they are doing this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quarterfinals was a blast. Last year.
It was what it was.
Yeah. There's always
Well,
lots
I mean,
of people to do
I
it
mean,
with,
from the
too.
standpoint of like the community, from the community aspect,
Well, I think
because we did the
is-
quarterfinals workouts together on Saturdays, didn't we?
Well, it was all in a few
it was
days.
all-
So
yeah,
it
it
was
was a
just like
weekend.
one
It
day
was a
that
weekend.
everyone.
Well, I mean, they would announce them. Right.
on Thursday or Wednesday or whatever it was, and then you'd have
Well, fuck.
Fintel
What am I thinking about?
You're thinking
then?
of the open.
or fittest.
No,
of the You're
not-
thinking of fittest of the coast.
Oh, that I guess that's it.
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah, CrossFit is weird in that it was built off of community, and so we're going to be doing a podcast on this in a couple of weeks with the merger and acquisitions guy. So stay tuned
Nice.
for that. But they really built a foundation off of community.
Yeah.
And there's going to have to be some sort, whenever somebody else comes in, it's likely there's going to have to be a fine balance between some sort of franchising and making it more of like an actual gym business model that you see that has worked for years. Planet Fitness been around for forever. Lifetimes have been around forever. So more of like that franchised business model, and keeping the community, because the community is basically the business at this point in time.
Yeah. True.
And so they've done a pretty good job of destroying that, in my opinion, over the last 4 or 5 years. I do think that they were trending in the right direction with quarterfinals and opening it up to more people, and like it was something that was at least consistent in the year, which is always great for a community. But when you switch things up again, it's gonna create a distaste, and then Lazar's death was, and their reaction to it was a huge drain on the community in general.
That's true. And then you had another one here on May 2nd.
Yeah, that was super tragic. So
It was the Cholula games.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what they were, but
CHOLU.
they were down in Mexico.
Yeah.
But yeah, so whoever takes this over is going to have a very uphill battle to fight, it appears, and I really like what World Fitness Project is doing right now. They're getting into local gyms, they're getting into affiliates, they're genuinely trying to build a grassroots while also kind of spending big to create something. So we'll see what happens with that. There is in my opinion, there is a need for what they're trying to create in the competitive fitness scene. And if people walk away from this weekend with a pretty good experience, I think it's only going to grow from there. So
I hope that it goes well, like for the athletes and the spectators. From what I've seen just on the live stream, it looks great, and I think they're doing things right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like it some of the work, like it's kept my interest in watching competitive fit, like 5 heats of competitive fitness, both men and women yesterday. Which that has not happened in a very long time. I'll usually just tune in for the last heats to get some data points on it. But I'm very intrigued as to what the turnout for the qualifiers in July will look like. So yeah, we'll see.
You're referencing like the World Fitness Project going on right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Just wanted to verify that. Huh.
Yeah. So yeah. How was grid camp?
It's quite the segue.
A smooth segue.
Very much. It went well.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. We went up to 1440 and we did a scrimmage against the Breakers. Another.
Oh, I didn't know they came into town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was us and the Breakers there,
Yeah.
and we were only missing Tom and David.
R.I.P.
They're not dead.
Oh.
But we do need to have a moment of silence for Yana. We forgot to do that.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. It went well. There were some things that I'll be fully transparent. Like our first match is against the Sharks.
Yep.
And they are completely stacked on paper.
Right.
So old Dan here has had to find areas to make up time that will be lost just from an objective standpoint, especially for this specific match format. So there's going to be some very unorthodox things happening in the first match after this weekend.
I'm excited to see those.
Yes, I'm excited to see them too after I saw them last week.
Cool.
I'm not going to disclose them.
That's why I said I'm excited to see them.
I'm not telling you.
When is the first match?
Memorial Day weekend, May 24th. May 24th, we are the last match at 6:30 p.m.
I will be at a wedding, but I'll watch it on my
That's
phone.
fine. I wasn't telling you. I was telling them.
Okay.
So,
Just letting you know. I'll just have it on my phone.
fair enough. It'll be a fun match to watch, especially because we are going to be missing David. He wasn't able to get off work that day.
Dang.
It's a heavy loss, but we have found something to make up. And it's amazing to see the skill sets of the people that we didn't really know had a grid level skill set, like a significant grid level skill set.
Okay, this is my question for you then.
Okay.
We've had some conversations prior to the season starting
When?
via text message. We had some here in person too.
Did we?
And what you seem much more excited now having had the grid camp than you did before the season started. And like what kind of like was the shift there, if that makes sense?
Well, life at home got a fuckload easier.
That's true.
Is a big
Yeah,
one.
That's true.
We sold the house. We moved.
Yeah.
We're in a well-established Airbnb.
Yeah.
Like we're comfy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big one.
Right.
We fucking paid off debt that we've had for almost 15 years.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's a nice relief. That's a big part, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
The other part was like I'm very excited because this crew of people, the trajectory they're on, they're gonna be dangerous in Dallas.
Right.
Specifically Tanner, Devin, Bryn Karik, and I even asked her to pronounce her last name and I forgot. Like, dude, she's deadly. Mm-hmm. She taught herself butterfly ring muscle ups and can do a set of 5 already.
Are you supposed to be telling people that?
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, okay.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's not like she posted on social media, so it's fine.
Okay.
But like, completely self-taught. I also
Yeah.
didn't know she was 5'8".
Yeah, she's a little taller.
Yeah, she's exactly like what we needed.
Yeah, right.
Fulfills. I thought we had a roster of very short females. If I'm being honest with you,
yeah.
I didn't realize she's a monster in a positive way.
Only in the world of
In a
CrossFit is a 5'8" woman.
Yeah, right.
She's so tall.
So, yeah, right.
And then what's really funny is like in the grid world, I guess the CrossFit world too, like, you know, Tom Soroka being on our team, you see him you see him in person.
Yeah.
Great. But like as a dude, you see him like on TV or whatnot, you think he's this tall, gigantic, like Brian Shaw looking dude. He's like 6'1", 6'2". It's weird. It's like when I first met Easy Muhammad, he's like 5'11". He's taller
than me.
He's taller than that. Huh?
Easy's taller than I am.
Well, then maybe I was in high heels or something. I don't know. But grid camp went well. The one part that I didn't really like is the first match took 3.5 hours. But that was mostly due to equipment setup and teardown. Funny note is in the triad for this first match, that's the race where you have 3 people out there on the grid floor at once. Testing some things out. We had Matt Cable out there, he did the kettlebell snatches, skipped the 5 pullovers, hit the 20 wall balls. I'm sorry, 15 wall balls. No, 20 wall balls, and then the handstand walk ramp up the stairs, down the ramp. Had Tyler Billington and one of our other bodyweight specialists out there. Matt was the only one that went up and over the ramp successfully.
Okay.
And, like, unfortunately,
Matt's a pretty big dude.
he's
too.
a massive human.
Yeah.
Shorter, he's like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", but just like 300 pounds of
Thick.
He looks like a laundry bag with how much muscle he has. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
But like and we were using the Titan handstand walk ramp as well, not the Valor Fitness one.
Not as easier to walk on. Yeah.
So whenever you get a chance to like visit Griffin or whatever, the Valor Fitness handstand walk ramp is like as hard as this table.
Oh,
it's
wow,
super sturdy, stupid fucking sturdy. Like, I could probably, if I was able to walk on my hands up and down, up the stairs, down the ramp, I could do it.
So if you could do the ramp, you could do it.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying. That took a long time for me to say that. Whoops. Well, I mean, so camp was extremely well. I adored this team dynamic.
Yeah.
It's
good.
I learned a lot of things. There's positives and negatives associated with any camp scrimmage, whatever, especially with a group of people. Like, we came off winning the whole thing last year.
Right.
We have like half rookies now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I guess that's where I'm more curious. Is like, you're coming off a very big high to the year, and like, you've been coaching grid for 6. Well, I mean, you coached old grid, but like, this one's like what, 6 years.
This will be year 5 with the
5.
Florida Grid League transition to United Grid League. But
so like, what has that process been? And like, were you ever like just kind of like FML, like I'm completely starting over, or does that kind of make sense? Or
yeah, I was in that state for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with John Mia and Cody Leffler as well. He was a former chief judge, one of the former chief judges that he decided not to judge this year. He wanted to be assistant coach with us from a remote standpoint to help meet standards in this, that, and the other. We were very tedious with the process of who's going to be on the team, like interviews with Cody was available, all 4 of us, but at least like myself and then John and Mia. Dude, we were right up to the wire. We only have 9 dudes. You're allowed to have up to 10. When I say we have 9, like, Tom's not available for the second one.
Oh, okay.
David's not available for the first one.
Yeah.
So like, we really only have like 8 dudes for the entire season. And then we only have 7 signed girls, but maybe only 6 for the Dallas match. Because Jimmy's getting married July 4th weekend, so she may not be available there. that's a low roster
Right.
from what we're used to having.
Yeah.
Like last year, we filled it almost all the way to the brim.
Right.
We had 9 and 10.
Right.
Like
Right.
9 girls, 10 guys. So you guys, I mean, I know you saw that like Blake Kidder went to the Sharks.
Okay.
And everyone was like, "Oh, do you hate him and this, that, and the other?" Like, no, I don't give a fuck.
You're like, no, I've been through 4 seasons of Grid,
Yeah.
and I know people just transfer teams.
And, like, it's fine. Like his perspective, like he's the type of dude that wants to be on like the perceived sure thing, and also half of his former teammates on the Wild are on the Sharks, so like you can't really fault him,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But like with the whole bringing it up to the wire signing thing, that was super fucking stressful. It was like we needed a strength girl badly. We needed a like a secondary handstand push-up girl
And then he
badly.
I can't do anything else. So no.
That's not a fact.
Sorry.
That's not true. No,
It would be the last thing I would ever do.
opportunity to just be a goofball, I guess, is what I was going for there. But that state of fuck my life ended quickly.
at the
Well before then,
Oh,
honestly,
okay.
because about 5 weeks or so preceding the camp and scrimmage, we had a call with everyone who could make it, which honestly was most of the team.
okay.
And we went through the first match, but it took 3 hours to get through it. And nobody batted a fucking eye. They wanted to like go through it piece by piece, very meticulously, go over the movement standards, the movement quality, what grid speed, grid IQ, like all that shit is, and how to understand like the communication of it all from me to them, and this, that, and the other. And dude, it about went flawlessly.
That's awesome.
Everything at the scrimmage that I saw that I expected to see, I saw, minus a couple things that aren't really relevant to talk about. They're being handled separately. But bro,
Sounds like you guys have very good team dynamics.
yes, this
Yeah.
is the best team dynamic I think I've ever experienced so far.
Yeah.
Like we've had a couple of hiccups already, but like they're being handled.
Yeah.
And that's just more. You know, you and I can talk about it off air a little bit if you want. I'm not comfortable saying it here, but that's more related to my level of communication and expectation, and communicating my expectations to others.
Yeah.
But they're capitalizing on it.
That's
already.
sweet.
But I'm ecstatic to confidently say that like Devin, Bryn, Tanner, Yana Wallakin Green, who's she's down at our house.
Yana with the
Lamar.
legs.
That's right. Yana with the legs. That's right. Yeah, she's down with Lamar at our house.
Yeah.
I'm very confident in their level of leadership that will come forward
Okay.
once it's appropriate. Like even Raphael out of Tampa, like there's a little bit of a language barrier,
Yeah.
but dude, he's not afraid to be like, look, motherfucker, like we need to do this.
Yeah.
We need to capitalize on this.
Sweet.
This is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I can't say enough positivity about Matt Phelan. Holy fuck, that dude's a genius.
Sweet.
Like, and he had the gall. I'm usually that's a negative word, but I'm using it here positively.
Is it a negative word?
You had the gall to say that to me. Fuck you. Yeah, usually.
But then you just use a sentence with it positively. So
I am now. Yeah.
okay, continue.
He had the gall to say to me after like one of the run throughs of the triad. He's like, Dan, I have to be on that handstand walk ramp. It's inexcusable for me not to be on it. And he and I have a good relationship, and he didn't mean it at all negatively. He was just speaking very matter of fact.
Yeah.
And it made me so happy because like that's required on the grid floor.
It's open and honest communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you can't have that on the grid floor, like get the fuck off the floor.
Yeah.
Entirely. Like it's not a maybe I can. Like I can do this. Okay, well you can show me. All right, here it is. It's at grid speed. All right, yeah, you can. Or like no, you can't.
Right.
Don't throw a fucking hissy fit about it.
Right.
None of that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so nice to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be your guys' like obstacle this year? Is
The way.
well, yes, exactly.
Classic book.
Exactly. But like you guys are probably riding highs coming off of this grid camp. Like you're very positive. Like everybody had a pretty good experience there. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to be that kind of like obstacle that that's going to be like the make or break point?
I think make or break.
Like if you don't handle it correctly, Team kind of self-destructs. If you handle it well, it grows you guys.
So here's the thing. I don't know if we have a team that can self-destruct.
Everybody has a breaking point.
True. So everybody has a breaking point, but
and every season has something that has.
So I'll put it this way, tactfully, the breaking point that would be experienced is replaceable.
Okay.
And that plan has already been solidified if it happens.
Yeah.
I confidently, I would bet my left nut on this. Like, I don't think the rookies.
But that's the only one you have.
I have both. They're just detached. Is this professional enough for you?
Keep talking.
I don't think that the rookies, especially, have the ability to break.
Okay.
Because there was a massive opportunity for one of our rookies to experience a breaking point, and she didn't.
Okay.
And in fact, it's kind of like, as a pitcher, you give up a home run. What's your response? Strike out the next batter. Mm-hmm. That's what she did, and it was fucking phenomenal.
That's dope.
And I honestly think the leadership fed on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And in my perspective, they might not have felt that way because like some of the things I purposefully did going into the scrimmage in camp was we didn't practice transitions. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask them to do like specific nuanced stuff. Mm-hmm. I gave the lineup, communicated, here's what we're doing, here's expectations here. I'm going to do my job as the coach on the grid floor. Mm-hmm. But I observed the adaptability of the leadership, the veterans, the adaptability of the rookies, and what degree of, I'm not going to be like cliche and say camaraderie that was experienced, but how do I want to put this? I don't want to piss anybody off. Actually, who I could rely on and who I could rely on and who I couldn't.
Yeah.
If my heart rate starts to get up.
Yeah.
Because it will get up.
Yeah.
So
are you saying that you're the breaking point?
No. That I won't be.
Okay.
I can assure you that, unless I'm not going to. Okay. No, I'm not going to be the breaking point this year. Last year, I think I was at certain points. And thank God for my fucking what? Okay.
Yeah.
Just bear with me on what I mean by that, or when I say that. But like, thank God for my wife, John and Mia, and then also like Griffin, Amanda, Pat, Tom, the whole fucking wild roster, almost the whole fucking wild roster. Sorry, I ran out of air. That teaching me like how to be a better quote unquote manager for adults. Mm-hmm. Especially from my wife was in the military. She got out as a captain. She's like, "Hey, dipshit, you need to do a better job of this. You're letting them do that. Stop fucking around." She didn't say it like that, but it was a very well received message, and I greatly appreciated that. And Leanna, you may not know this, but when I started driving back from Vegas, it was almost 6 hours of pure silence, reflecting that shit.
Wow, I do remember when you said you were driving out there.
Dude, beautiful drive.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
That's really, really far.
Yeah, the Dan from last year is dead and gone, and this is playoff and championship Dan now.
Sweet.
I'm not gonna be the breaking point.
Like it.
Unless I'm screaming at the referees or something, which I won't do that. I think it's inappropriate and stupid.
Fair.
It was a strike.
Yeah.
What other questions do you have on that aspect of it all?
No, I think you guys, just from the sound of it, I think you guys have really good team dynamics this year. And you also have a bunch of people that are coming in with no expectations as well. And then I think what's really cool is the leadership this year, I think, has all very kind of healthy egos, if that makes, and I think that makes it very kind of like a seamless transition of like, we know that we're here to teach the rookies like what they need to do and how to perform, what they need to do to perform better. And it seems like the rookies are just very receptive to that as well. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to mesh to be a pretty fun, regardless of the outcome. Like, obviously winning is fun, but I think this was another thought that I had is like, we qualified for the games in 2016. Cool. Very fun experience. Very cool that we did that. But the experience was kind of ruined by a lot of the gym dynamics, if that makes sense. And
Up in Minnesota.
yeah,
Right,
yeah. And so it ended up like we sent 3 people to the games who never had that experience before, never will again, and it was kind of tainted. Their experience of going there was kind of tainted by a lot of the drama that happened that year. And it's like,
yeah, that's fair.
I think one of the individuals on that team, DJ, started a podcast and he interviews a lot of mindset people on it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the individuals that he had on, I can't remember who it was exactly, but his whole point was it's about the relationships that you build. It's not about the accomplishments that you make. And that I think holds true for 99.999% of individuals competing. I think a Jordan, a Kobe, and even Kobe to some extent, he actually started building relationships after he was done. But I think some of the greats. I do think that they treated people pretty well, but it was more about the accomplishments for them. I would be curious to come back and hear whether it was worth it or not, if they did feel like they treated anybody poorly. But this guy was saying, like, it's all about the relation. You're going to look back. You're not going to look back on the accomplishments that you've done. You're going to look back at the relationships that you've built. And so I think that is something that is going to be a pretty big learning experience for you guys this year. And, like, you might not win like you did last year, but I think it's going to be one of the more fun years for you guys because everybody just is cohesive and meshes very well together.
That's so. I honest to God think that our only speed bump that could maybe leverage a make or break. That's why I stopped like a make or break. It's going to be the adjustment during and then immediately after the first match.
Yeah, right.
So it's like shit falls apart,
right,
or goes hyper well, in a grid match,
right.
Depending on what happens afterwards, immediately afterwards, will dictate the success of the rest of the season. When I say success, I mean like win-loss record, making the playoffs and so on and so forth. But the theme, and we've made it very, very clear, the goal this season is for this to be the most enjoyable season that we've ever had, and so far it's like deadly on par.
That's awesome
to have to experience that.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. That's exciting.
Devin is. People should not turn their back on him. Devin and Bryn specifically, man.
He'll stab you in the back. Is that why? Or
yeah, both of them together. I watched it happen.
Are you gonna elaborate?
Oh, yeah. his ability to pick up the grid knowledge in the middle of it, and then maintain grid level speed. Like, is he at the elite level grid level speed yet? No, he's not. But that boy's trajectory is very high.
Sounds like he found his calling.
I honestly think so. I mean, how old is he?
I think he's my age, 34.
34.
33,
it seems to be the thing with like dudes, like the late 20s, early 30s, they really blossom in grid.
Huh.
With what I've experienced so far.
It does require you to be more mature in regards to doing your job in the sport.
That's another great thing is the camp greatly expressed. Nobody's going to bitch about the volume that they're doing. They're just going to do what they're told to do.
Yeah.
Which from the rookies was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because I kind of, my message to all of them is like, if you start associating a $sign with the amount of reps you do, you're not on a grid team for the right reason. And we can discuss your termination essentially.
Sweet.
And they were all like, okay.
That's dope. That's dope.
It sounds like a very good team.
It is. It's going to be a fuckload of fun, and it's going to be. It's a big reason why the breakers are dangerous this year.
Okay.
Because they started with this type of dynamic.
Okay. Yeah.
And like they haven't lost a lot of people.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
So I was really happy to get them up there.
Yeah.
To scrimmage us, and like Matt Hornaday is a fantastic human being.
Sweet.
He has the most beautiful eyes.
Good to know.
Very important for grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of how when the lights shine through,
you can just blind people.
It's distracting.
I'll Google them.
Okay.
Sweet.
Anything else you want to know about grid camp in the scrimmage?
No, I'm excited to watch this year though.
Hell yeah, it's gonna be much better run, in my opinion, predominantly because the season's a lot shorter.
Yes, that is awesome. That
Yep.
they're taking steps in the right direction to really make this a better experience for everybody.
Yes. The matches are Memorial Day weekend, Father's Day weekend, and then
4th of July.
no, the weekend after that, July 12th in Dallas. And then that's the regular season. Postseason is, I think, 2 or 3 weeks after the games.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you have any questions about grid?
No, it's very impressive what you guys do. I remember coming to one of the camps and I was like, this is the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, you were there last year.
And I get workout brain like pretty badly. And I was just thinking like, oh my God, if I was in this and I had to do something, like I would not know where to go, how many reps to do. I mean, I have trouble counting my own reps in just like standard training.
Thankfully, you got a judge yelling at you.
Yeah, still. I wouldn't want me running off to the wrong
Or,
side
I'm
of
sorry,
the floor.
referee. They're referees in this sport.
Anyway, good luck.
Yeah. Thanks, dog.
I'll watch on my phone at the wedding.
That's fine.
For the first match.
Next year, you can watch in person behind the start line.
Okay.
Maybe.
The
Maybe.
theme of my year is actually do less. So
See, the thing about grid,
Prior to High Rocks, Leon was like, I feel really good right now. I want to do, and she sent a list of like 6 or 7 different things. I'm like, let's get through semifinals and talk
yeah.
about this.
One of them involved a half marathon that was today.
see, the great thing
I'm not
about
there.
the great thing about grid is your job is meant to be very little is meant to be done, just performed at 100%. So I mean, you might be doing just like 3 elements and you're done for the whole match.
But if you take CrossFit seriously, it negates up to 50 training days in the year.
I've literally slept 10 hours every night for the last like 2 weeks, and I could take a nap right now.
Well,
I'm not
let's turn the
exaggerating.
lights down and let her sleep.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to go take some naps, guys.
Yep. Just go to bed. Day is done.
Yep.
Good talk today. Good talk.
Good talk. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Please like and subscribe. Where do they find you on Instagram?
Free_Leanimal. Or just look up Leanna Ehrlich. My name is not Free Leanimal, but that's my handle.
I'm very curious, but I've got questions
Yeah.
about
My
that.
nickname in high school was Leanimal because I won a push-up contest.
Well, where's the free come from?
It's a Sia song, the artist Sia, and the song is Free the Animal, and it sounds like Free Leanimal.
I've never
Yeah.
heard of her.
She's the girl with the mask.
Who's that?
See.
Daynada.
Okay, I'll play the song for you sometime.
I'm
It's a
kidding.
long
I'm
story,
kidding. I
but
know-
yeah,
I know who
The
she is.
Animals from
Nobody's
high
listening
school.
anymore. I know. Thanks for maybe listening to this.